Hey kittens! Apparently it's been a while since my last video. I wouldn't know though because I'm in lockdown, so my sense of time has just gone out the window. This lockdown's different to last lockdown because no job keeper means I'm not doing my bonsai job at the moment. So yeah, I don't really get out of the house except to go for a walk with Hope, and yeah, my sense of time is properly shot. Bonsai is also the one day that I would wake up early instead of dragging myself out of bed at 10 in the morning and sort of, getting myself just awake enough to catch the press conference where they tell us everything's getting worse. Um, yeah, so sense of time really not happening for me at the moment. Um, but no, I have talked to my boss. He's checked on me just to see how things are going. I think things are pretty quiet there. Like it's winter, so that's another thing. With lockdown plus winter, there's not a whole lot to do with bonsai. Like plants are growing, but not that fast at the moment. Although my Chinese elms have gone nuts. Like they're meant to be semi-deciduous, and I know Sydney's climate isn't quite enough to make them all lose their leaves, but for them to be growing in the middle of winter, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't really have anything to talk about. I was just like, oh shit, it's been a while since I made a video. But since we're here, so if any of you guys, well, a bunch of you guys, 9 votes. You went to my community tab, and I've got a poll there at the moment. It's been up there for a week. So I'm in YouTube's like product testing group or whatever. So yeah, when they're testing new features or whatever. I don't even remember how I signed up, but hey, you do like surveys, and sometimes they give you new features to try out, and then they'll ask you about it after a while. And so one of the current ones that I'm involved in is this channel guidelines thing, which I didn't ask to be put into, but I sort of just got into it automatically. And they're like, hey, we've put you on this, tell us what you think. So I'm like, okay, my channel's not big enough to need channel guidelines, but yeah, basically it seems like the Facebook thing, like, in Facebook groups, anyone who, I know there's some people who don't use Facebook, but in Facebook groups, I'm the admin of a few groups, and you can set like these rules that people have to agree to, and then if they try and post something that doesn't fit the rules, you can stop. You can decline their post from being approved, and also tick a box to say which rule they broke. So for example, I help run like a gig group, like for bands looking for gigs or venues who are looking for bands to book. And one of the rules is like it has to be in Australia because it's an Australian based group. And so if someone's like from the UK trying to get gigs and they've joined the group by accident and post something that doesn't fit Australia, I can be like, no, I'm declining that, and I tick the Australia only rule, and then I will probably also go through the membership and just delete them because yeah, they've joined the wrong group, and some of them joined before I got into being an admin, and I'm a lot stricter than some of the other admins because that's how I am. Anyway, so for a bit of background, what YouTube is testing at the moment is letting channels set their own guidelines for commenting, except that it doesn't really work the way that Facebook does, as far as I know. I haven't actually seen this myself, so some of you guys might have seen it pop up on my channel. I don't actually know how it works, but I gather that when you try and comment, maybe for the first time, I hope it doesn't do it every single time you try to comment, but it gets you to agree to some guidelines that I've written, and if you've seen them and had a giggle about them, they're pretty dodgy. Because I was just like, I'm in this testing group, I have to come up with something, right? So yeah, I just made up some stuff off the top of my head. Anyway, so if you have some better suggestions, you can let me know. But the thing is, as far as I know, even if you agree to it, you can still leave a comment and nothing will really happen. And I don't even know if there's a way for me to say, hey, you broke this rule, that's why I deleted your comment. I think it's just this sort of token thing where it's like, hey, before you comment, would be nice if you did these things. Yeah, there's no mechanism like that. YouTube wouldn't program it to be automatic because they have enough trouble with their algorithms as it is. So it's up to me to still manage my comments anyway. I guess it's just one of those things that makes people pause for a moment. Shit, I should have opened up what my rules actually are. For those of you who haven't seen it, where is it? It's in my, I go to YouTube Studio, I go to my settings, I go to community, and then I go to channel guidelines. Okay, so write guidelines for conversations on your channel. Add up to 3 guidelines for people to acknowledge before they make the first comment. Okay, first comment. And then the guidelines are always available to viewers from the top of the video comments sections. Oh, on the mobile app. Maybe that's why I haven't seen them, because I don't watch YouTube on a phone. Like, are you kidding? I have this big monitor here and you think I'm going to watch all my YouTube on that? No. Even if it's like this huge phone, which I've opened up a window so I can't actually see. Oh, and yeah. Huge phone. I'm still not gonna make that my main YouTube watching thing. Oh, and what's this square that I've just clicked on my screen? Anyway, yeah, I really didn't plan this video. So I put in a welcome message, which says, hey there, I'm testing channel guidelines and don't know what to write in this section. And then for my rules, the first one is try to be interesting or ask interesting questions. I don't know. The second rule is try not to be too crazy, stop at Tom Cruise level maybe. And the third rule is try not to be annoying, use your brain if you have one. Yeah, that's the best I could come up with off the top of my head. Some of you seem to have seen them, because in my community tab, that's where I put this poll where I'm asking for feedback. Channel guidelines, what do you think? I'm testing this function where I can set rules you have to agree to before you comment. You may start seeing them. I don't actually know 100% how it works. If you do see them though, I could use some feedback, which no one's really given me any feedback. I'm not sure they're entirely relevant to my channel, so I've not exactly come up with the most thoughtful ones, to be honest. But I'm in the product tester program, so I'm giving it a go anyway. So yeah, if you've seen them, vote below and or comment. Also taking suggestions if you have a better idea than what came off the top of my head. Keep in mind, I can only have 3 and it's a 60 character limit. Also taking suggestions for the 85 limit welcome message. Just be sensible, okay kids? Do as I say, not as I do, or something. I was thinking of editing that into the video so you could see it, but I really can't be bothered. I'm just like, my routine's like a mess. And, oh, I keep clicking things. Yeah, just time is all smooshed. And I did try and get a referral to another psychiatrist, and they're just all telehealth. So if I'm losing my mind, well, it's their fault, isn't it? Because no one will see me, and I'm sort of just given up on that idea. Anyway, so the votes, as far as I know, these polls on my community tab don't expire or anything, so I think you can still vote in them. But at the moment, as I film this, we have 9 votes. Which, yeah, I think mathematically it should be fairly easy to work out. So I think we've got 1 vote for pointless, 2 votes saying it's amusing, 1 vote saying it might seem rude to people who aren't familiar with the channel, 3 votes for all hail the new dictatorship, we bow to your thought control, and 2 votes for I never comment, I'm a random silent lurker. Shh. Hello, Hopi. You can't see him, can you? I've set this very low. And you can see why, because it just screws everything up when I do that. Yeah, I finally got some controls so that this looks a little bit, well, it's still not great, but it's better than before, I think. Just makes everything really dark. That's the price of not having my face washed out. Now I'm just a floating head, almost in a black space. Especially if I go even. But it's a bit more like how I used to YouTube. When I used to have those kinds of things, for any of you who've been around long enough. But yeah, so basically, at present, most of you are voting for me to start a cult, which I know I've been talking about for more than a decade and just never quite get around to it. And you'd think that in lockdown I might finally do it, but no, I can't concentrate. I'm trying to write some lyrics and it's just taking me ages. I think partly because it's a complicated song, but also I'm just like, spacing out. I've also, where is it? Cracked open Wire in the Blood. Oh, remember when DVDs came in awesome box sets? So yeah, I've only watched the first 2, but to be fair, they're 95-minute episodes, so it's like watching a movie. And the last few nights I just haven't I had this huge stack of invoices that came in all at once from my work from home job after like, you know, a couple of weeks of them barely giving me anything. So yeah, all of a sudden I had to do that the other night, and then just getting distracted. There's people walking around, which is really cool. I'm just like, aren't you guys watching TV? Can't you just go back to watching TV? Anyway, I also don't know if I set my Zoom recorder loud enough, because I've been playing with vocal stuff. So hopefully you can actually hear me and I haven't just been talking to myself this whole time. Although it kind of is talking to myself, isn't it? Yeah, anyway. So that's all I've got. I can't even remember what I've said so far because I'm just that out of it. I might even post this video raw instead of, you know, making sure the audio and the video are in sync and having the little card at the end, because I just can't be bothered at this point. So yeah, whatevs, guys.